Welcome to the Market Frontlines. I'm Lyndsay Malchuk, coming to you right from PDAC in Toronto. Sitting with me is Michael Rowley, CEO of Stillwater Critical Minerals. Now, Michael is driving one of North America's most intriguing critical mineral plays, with nickel, copper, cobalt, and palladium, root metals right next to the only primary PGE mines in the U.S. Their drilling keeps delivering near-surface high-grade results that are catching serious attention. Michael, welcome. How's the show been so far?
It's been excellent and very well attended.
Very well. I hear that it's 30,000 plus people this year, of all of our closest friends.
Yes, absolutely. We've been doing this a while.
We have been doing this a while. Right out of the gate, I want to ask just a simple question. When investors look at Stillwater, they see a project that has incredible results that you're putting out right now. But what do you see as the biggest hidden challenge or misconception that nobody in the market yet is talking about?
We're Polymetallic, and that's a hard sell.
Yeah.
The market really wants you to be one element, and usually the one that's topical right now. We're a nicely internally diversified blend, the Plat Reef blend. It's very appropriate for the district. We'll touch on that. But, 1.6 billion pounds nickel, copper, cobalt, 3.8 million ounces palladium, platinum, rhodium, gold, plus 2.3 billion pounds chrome, truly polymetallic, and the values split between those really nicely balanced. That's why Glencore likes it. That's why industry likes it. Final point on that note, biggest mines in the world are polymetallic. Majors like polymetallic.
There we go.
Investors don't always get it so much. So,
What do you think it is that they're missing about that then?
well, as you shift from the early stage retail investor to the bigger, more corporate investors, that would be the catch. We attracted Glencore 3 years ago now. They've written 3 checks in 3 years, in fact. It's not easy to do.
No.
You do that on the basis of polymetallic big project, big scale, big potential. The retail investor is much more motivated by grade, and particularly grade on the commodity of the moment, right? Lately, that's platinum and rhodium, and we indeed have the biggest rhodium resource in North America. We happen to be beside Sibanye, and they're producing PGM mines.
Right.
So you know that the palladium, platinum, rhodium that we've got gets a lot of sizzle,
Yeah.
but the nickel, copper, cobalt, and chromium are there too.
Well, that's the thing.
U.S. government likes that, and Glencore likes that. And
Yeah, your neighbors are pretty heavy hitters, so that's that's not small talk right there. That's something for sure. So tell me, you have put out some very promising drill results already. I'm sure there's more to come. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
I'd be glad to. The first news release was 2 of the 8 holes.
8 holes.
These are from the CZ deposit area. It is shaping up as a really good starter operation.
Right.
If you read into that news release, we're better than ever at targeting mid and high grade near surface.
Right.
And then there's the connection with the central deposit, literally right next door, and the HDR deposit, a little further to the east. These are adding up nicely to that 100 million ton sort of threshold that you need to really launch a PEA and get going. The next news release, the remaining 6 drill holes are close at hand. We're excited about those. You'll see some really good PGM intercepts in there, and we're going to get those out literally as fast as we can.
Right. Yeah.
Beyond that, rhodium, and then it's the bigger resource estimate that those will drive, along with the 2023 drill campaign. And we're saying H1 of this year for that.
Wild. Now, you operate in Montana. From what I know about Montana, is Montana used to be the world's largest producer of copper. So you're in porphyry. You're, multi-metal. How is that sector? How is all of that now in Montana? Like, tell us about Montana, because it's coming to the surface a lot more. And I think there's some education that's needed a little bit more around Montana.
You're absolutely right about Montana and copper. People went there in the 1800s looking for gold.
Yeah.
And they found copper and silver and gold. Butte in particular dominated in copper. Montana Resources is still producing there from a large copper moly pit. The best thing I can say about Montana, it's the only producer of PGMs in America, and arguably the best in North America, right beside us in Sibanye. The broader Stillwater complex, still the best chromium resources in America, and actually produce chromium for the U.S. with government subsidies in the 40s and 50s. So the U.S. government recognizes our district, our formation for critical minerals. Bigger picture, the government recognizes that. And in fact, Congressman Ryan Zinke and Secretary of the Interior Doug Burgum were in Montana at Montana Tech just 2 days ago, talking about the mineral wealth estate.
Wow.
How to advance it, what America needs, domestic supply chains.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's, a great story right there. There's a lot that comes out of Montana for sure. One of the questions that does come up a lot is permitting there. How is permitting there? Because it is very community-based, and they have a lot to say in what's happening in and around their properties. So tell us how you face some of those challenges, some of those celebrations. Tell us all about that.
I think it matters very much where you are. There are some parts that are just going to be more work than others. We have Siboney's good name, good precedent right beside us. It's a very pro-mining community. Look up their Good Neighbor Agreement. That is a precedent setter for industry on how to work in a community, build trust. There are 2 mines right beside us, and they're processing in Columbus, Montana. Very well liked from the locals, the jobs they've created, the value they've built. They keep saying responsible mining, and that's what it is. For us, look to that Good Neighbor Agreement. It's legally binding on 4 parties. It's a precedent setter for the industry.
Right.
And a template for how to work.
So that community, they, like I said, they were heavy in 1980s, I believe it was, or even earlier for copper, and then it all died off. But the community is all now starting to come back and seeing that mining all ramp up again. And, there's some legacy there for sure. Tell us about your shareholders, who the major shareholders are, if you're one of the major shareholders, tell us about that.
Well, in fact, at this show, you've got over 10% of the company, and I'm publicly 6.4 million shares. I'd like to have more.
Yeah.
Sitting here right now. Glencore is the single biggest shareholder, and they've written 3 checks for that in 3 years.
Wow.
And it means a lot to get a major in, not at a project level deal, JV deal, but at an equity level like you or I could write a check as an investor.
Right.
Not easy to do. It took us a few years to get there, but it was well worth holding on 100% of an asset and continue to work it through equity placements until we get to a PEA or some sort of, where you've really put a pin in the value and you've got some numbers now.
Right.
Then you can, in my opinion.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Other shareholders, US Global is there, Dolafin, Sprott Asset is there. You can see that in the slide deck. Management broadly, just to be clear, holds 17%, myself included.
Well, let's go further with your management, because management really does set the tone for all the way down the ladder as well. So tell us about your management team. Tell us how, are they boots on the ground? What's their background? Tell us all this stuff.
Absolutely. I'll start with our chair, Greg Johnson. Really, we're following the NovaGold playbook. They saw that from 10 cents a share to $2 billion in market cap. They did that with a district scale acquisition in the depths of a bear market. When majors are letting go of good assets, juniors are dying and dropping good assets is the history on this one.
Yeah.
That's when we acquired the Stillwater project. When we acquired the lower Stillwater complex entirely. We literally share the district with Siboney. From there, we added Gregor Hamilton as a board member. Gordon Toll is a well-known name. Nora Pincus is a powerhouse lawyer and mine financier, ex-Nabari, now BD Capital, and Empress Royalty, ex as well, and a Montana local.
Right.
So she was an obvious addition.
Of course.
Bradley Adamson was Glencore, and he was their appointee, and that says a lot that they would do that. And then you've got the technical team. We have Danny Grobler and Albie Britz from Ivanhoe. And you add that to Justin Badreau, Mike Butch Austinson from Stillwater.
Yep.
You can see where we're going. We've got 50 years of Stillwater experience and 50 years of Bushveld experience with Glencore as a backer, Siboney right next door. That's basically
a great story. Great story. What do you think the next milestones are that you want to hit in the coming quarters?
This quarter's drill results.
Yeah.
I think the resource update is in the next quarter, but it's right after that. We're fully funded, fully permitted right now to drill our biggest program to date, and that would be...
Congratulations.
Watch my math here, third quarter.
Yeah.
And then it's get those results out. PEA, honestly, and metallurgy. We definitely metallurgy this year. PEA, we're saying next year, but we could certainly speed that up if markets are with us as that resource works out the way we think it's going to.
Well, it sounds like you have some fascinating news coming out Some great results already showing. Congratulations on all of that. Keep it going and definitely come back. We'd like to keep you updated for sure.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Absolutely. Again, that was Mike Rowley, CEO of Stillwater Critical Minerals. You can follow their trading on the venture under PGE, on the OTCQB under PGEZF, and on the Frankfurt under J0G. For more information, visit criticalminerals.com. Michael is showing how a North American critical minerals project can deliver results investors haven't fully priced in yet. And the story is only just getting started. Stay tuned. I'm Lyndsay Malchuk. We'll see you soon.